The Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets have both been playing so incredible this postseason, and this finals is going to determine a lot of things on our minds. For one, Jimmy Butler getting his first ring, cementing his name in Miami forever. Kyle Lowry to get his second, securing him a spot in the Hall of Fame. Jokic to get his first ring on top of the performance that he's been producing would put him in talks of the best player in the world. Jamal Murray to finally get the respect of an all-star that he so well deserves, and the Nuggets to get their first franchise ring in NBA history. There's so much wrapped up into this one series, but I think the Miami Heat can secure their fourth franchise ring against the Denver Nuggets. So we all know how good Denver has been this postseason and regular season. Like KD said,
Am I surprised about the Nuggets? Hell no, they're number one seed for a reason.
Jokic is averaging a crazy 29-point triple-double on 53% from the field. Then you have Jamal Murray playing out of his mind like Bubble Murray, averaging 27, 5, and 6 on almost 50, 40, 90. 50, 40, 90. And you got KCP and Aaron Gordon stepping up, playing like the players that you need them to play like, playing super, super good defense, scoring when they need to score, and then their bench presence with Bruce Brown leading the charge is super, super dangerous as well. And that is why the Nuggets are here, and they've showed us why they are here. But the Miami Heat, while being the 8th seed, have proved themselves, as well as climbing atop probably one of the most difficult Eastern Conferences we've seen in a while. So much so that many, many, many people said that the championship is going to go through the East. That it's going to go through the East. Now, in the first round, they defeated the number 1 seeded Bucks, who had 2 all-defensive team first guys in Brook Lopez and Drew Holiday, and Giannis came back from injury for 2 of those games and had 2 phenomenal games that he put up, one being a triple-double. But it wasn't enough to stop the Heat and Jimmy Butler from having a career playoff series, averaging 38, 6, 5 on 60, 40, 70. There was no stopping Jimmy. He was making every shot, step backs, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. There was no stopping him in that round 1. Then in round 2, they played the Knicks. Actually, we're just going to skip that one because it's the Knicks. They have Julius Randle. Not much to see here. They won in 6. Then we get to the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Boston Celtics. This series was unbelievable. The Heat come up to an early 3-0 lead. Caleb Martin stepping up, becoming the X factor that we all thought he was going to be, averaging 19, 6, and 2 on 60% from the field and 50% from 3. And that Eastern Conference series, he had 2 25-plus point games, both that resulted in wins. After the Miami Heat went up 3-0, the Celtics finally got it back in gear, finally put the gas back on, and they came all the way back, put it back 3-3. Derek White puts up the most clutch putback bucket that we have ever seen in this season to secure them a Game 7. Jason Tatum also was a huge, huge help in pushing a Game 7 in this series. In those 3 games after the Heat went up, Jason Tatum was averaging 28, 10, and 7. But sadly, in the last game, the Miami Heat stopped history from happening, and they blew out the Celtics. Jason Tatum got hurt first few seconds into the play, which happens. You know, those things happen. Doesn't matter. The Celtics still got blown out. The Heat secured the win. Jimmy Butler in that last Game 7, 28, 7, 6 on 42% from the field. Caleb Martin with 26, 10, and 3 on 68% to secure them their spot in the NBA Finals. Now, why does all that matter? Because it shows you that the Heat have what it takes to beat championship contending teams, and they've continued to show us that they have what it takes. And at that any random moment, at any time, anyone on that team can give you a really good performance to help push you over that edge in the game. Now, if you look at Miami's zone defense throughout the playoffs and how strong it's been, thanks to East Bowl, of course, they've been switching when they've needed to. Their help defense has been there on point every single time that they need it. Defender comes into the basket, they get right by the first defender. You have a help defender right there waiting. All because of that Miami zone defense. Now, with this being said, if you force Jokic into the pass, forcing the Nuggets offense to shift the way that the Miami plays zone, and we've seen it time and time and time again, they would be able to contain that offense and force the Nuggets to move the ball around at will. Now, on the offensive end for the Heat, they like to shoot a lot of threes. We know this. We've seen them put up a lot of threes. They weren't the best three-point shooting team in the regular season, but they're top 10 in threes attempted in the postseason and top 5 in three-point percentage, top 3 if we want to be a little bit more specific. Now, with this being said, we saw the Lakers manipulate Jokic and the Nuggets' offense and defense in multiple different ways. We saw the Lakers pulling him out of the paint towards the outside to the three-point line, and how much of a huge weakness that was in the Nuggets defense. Because now you're allowing for force inside or for some help defense to draw inside, allowing the Heat to either get a score off or get it out to the open shooter, which they have open shooters waiting, such as Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, and Gabe Vincent, which we all know they can hit down these shots when needed in big moment. I think this is how the Heat beats the Nuggets. Forcing Jokic to the outside, you make a play from there, attacking the paint, forcing a help defender to come onto you, or potentially getting yourself a score. Then, on the offensive end, they need to force Jokic or Murray to make a pass, allowing the Heat zone to close out on the receivers or force the receiver to make a tough shot. And I believe that Miami will be able, if they have to throw a double onto Jokic, again, with the way that we have seen them play their zone and how good of a zone that Miami can play, they will be able to recover to the receiver, maybe recover to the receiver of the hockey assist, or force that receiver to make a tough shot. And this is how I believe the Miami Heat can be the 2023 NBA champions and secure their 4th franchise ring.